Today we are going to practice graphing proportional relationships. We have already learned how to write, solve, and determine if an equation is proportional. And today we are going to practice finding proportional relationships using tables, graphs, and equations. So we will have a couple of situations and we will determine the proportionality of these situations using a table, graph, and equation. So let's go ahead and take a look at the situation first. It says at the local store, you can buy giant bags of Flamin' Hot Cheetos for $3 per bag. So we start like we usually do and think about what we are comparing. We are comparing here bags of Flamin' Hot Cheetos to the cost of those Cheetos. So in the table, we have to determine what X will be and what Y will be. Typically, our Y is our money or the cost, leaving X to be our bags, the number of bags. Okay, so now we set up a table. We start with 0. And if I have 0 bags of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, what will my cost be? Well, 0 bags is $0. If I have 1 bag, that will cost me $3. 2 bags will cost me $6. 3 bags will cost me $9. And 4 bags will cost me $12. Okay, I know this because 1 bag times $3 is 3. 2 bags, 2 each, 3 plus 3, 2 times 3 is 6, and so on and so forth. Now, over here, we determine our constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality, otherwise known as reality. That's a big one. Otherwise known as the unit rate. Okay. And we do that by determining what Y over X is. So we don't need to do this for 0 because 0 over 0 is 0. So we start here with our 1, 3. Y always goes on top. So I have 3 over 1. 3 over 1 can be simplified down to 3. Let's do this one. 6 over X, which is 2. This one, 9 over 3. And then lastly, we have 12. Again, Y is always on top over 4. Now let's simplify these. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 9/3 simplified is 3. 12/4 can be simplified to 3. That 3 is your constant of proportionality. It's the same for every single one of these, so it is proportional. If we have the same constant of proportionality, then it is proportional. Okay, so this is how a table will look for proportional relationships. Let's take a look at how this would be on a graph. So I always start with my X, my labeling it. So this is number of bags, and my Y was money. And then I graph my ordered pairs. Remember, my ordered pairs are X, Y. So I go to 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 9, and 4, 12. Now I get out my ruler or something to measure. Not measure, draw a straight line. And I forgot, here I do want to include my 0, 0. So it starts here and goes up, and that's my graph. Our graph is proportional because it goes up 3 over 1. Every single time, the distance is the same, and we could continue going and hitting our line that we made. What do we notice about this line that was created? Well, we notice that it goes through the origin and the line is straight. Those two things mean that our graph is proportional. Lastly, we can take our math so far and turn it into an equation. So what we have is we take this y over x. We start with that. Y over x, in this case, equals 3. Now, we kind of solve this like an equation. We need something by itself. So we actually we multiply this by x. And since we multiplied one side by x, I multiply this by x. Y equals 3x. Now, we can plug in any amount. So, for example, here, I have 4. So, y equals 3 times 4. Does that equal 12? Yes, it does. I could plug in any other number I wanted for the number of bags. I could say do I want 11 bags? I could say 3 times 11. That would tell me that y equals 33. It would cost me $33 for 11 bags. All right, let's try another one, okay? So down here it says you sell candy bars for a fundraiser for $2.50 each. Again, we typically keep Y money and X what we're purchasing, number of bars. We start with our 0. If I buy 0 bars, how much money do I spend? $0. Now, typically, I just like to go up in order. We don't need to get too fancy here. If I buy 1 candy bar, how much will that cost me? $2.50. If I buy 2 candy bars, how much will that cost me? Well, 2 times $2.50 is $5. 3 candy bars will cost me $7.50. And 4 candy bars will cost me $10. So now I go ahead. I don't need to do my y over x for 0, 0 because that's just 0. But I need to do it for everything else. 2.5 over 1. Remember, which one goes on top? Y or x? Always y. 5 over 2. 7.5 over 3. 10 over 4. So I can get out my calculator if I choose to do that. 2.5 divided by 1 equals 2.5. 5 divided by 2 will also get me 2.5, 2.5, and 2.5. This is called what? Big words here. Constant of proportionality. And then I can graph it. So I would start at 0, 0. And I would start then with my ordered pairs. 1. And then go up 2.5. Then I go to 2 to 5. 3, 7.5. 4 to 10, and then I can draw my line. Once again, we notice that this goes through the origin and remains straight. What would my equation be for this graph? So we would have an equation of y equals 2.5 times x.